But we have a lot to cover on the pandemic. Some states are starting to ease restrictions, or starting the process of that anyway, but the number of coronavirus cases still on the rise.
That's right. There are now more than 700,000 diagnosed cases in the U.S. with more than 37,000 deaths. Nearly 60,000 people have recovered across the country, an important number. The governors of Florida and Texas talking about plans to enter phase 1 of the federal government's guidelines to reopen. Vice President Pence saying there is unused diagnostic testing capacity and that states could more than double daily testing if they activate all labs.
Meanwhile, President Trump tweeting in favor of protesters who are angry with those stay-at-home orders issued by Democratic governors. This one day after the president said he'd been working well with governors from both parties. Team coverage this morning from New York to Washington to San Antonio, and we begin with ABC's Trevor Ault in Times Square.
This morning, protests growing over the COVID-19 lockdown nationwide, including here in Idaho, as a battle brews to reopen America.
What we did was the right thing. With that being said, we want to get back and we're going to be opening up states.
With every American state and territory now in a state of emergency, the president saying states like Minnesota, Virginia, and Michigan should be liberated. And without giving specifics, saying some state restrictions have gone too far.
Frankly, we built everything that the governors wanted, and in many cases it's too much. We told them it was too much, but we wanted to err on the side of caution.
The president appearing to side with protesters who are desperate to get back to work and are ignoring the White House's own social distancing recommendations as they demand stay-at-home orders be lifted.
It's time to step down from being a tyrant.
Yeah.
You know,
you gotta free the people. And
freedom. It's all about freedom.
Yeah.
Our choices. If you want to stay home, stay home. If you don't, let's do it.
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer acknowledging the economic anxiety, but holding firm on orders to stay home.
We're going to get through this, and we will re-engage our economy when it's safe.
But in some places, the race to reopen is already underway. In Florida, the beaches in Jacksonville once again welcoming the public despite a rising number of coronavirus cases in the state. And in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott announcing all elective surgeries can resume on Wednesday and all retail stores can offer curbside pickup and delivery.
We're now beginning to see glimmers that the COVID-19 may soon be behind us.
But health officials say each state has to be careful so we don't see a resurgence of the virus.
I certainly could understand the frustration of people, but my main role in the task force is to make recommendations to protect the health and the safety of the American people. And I would hope that people understand that that's the reason why we're doing what we're doing.
New York, the country's hardest hit state. The battle still raging on the front lines with more than 600 deaths on Friday. EMTs in full protective gear in a relentless cycle of picking up patients as the state now turns its focus to testing and calling for federal assistance.
The federal government cannot wipe their hands of this and say, oh, the states are responsible for testing. We cannot do it. We cannot do it without federal help.
But shortly after that request, President Trump lashing out at Governor Cuomo on Twitter, telling the governor to stop talking and saying, we have given New York far more money, help, and equipment than any other state by far, and these great men and women who did the job never hear you say thanks. Cuomo then firing back.
How many times do you want me to say thank you? But I'm saying thank you for doing your job. This was your role as president, okay?
Now, the president's plan to reopen the country is a three-phase process, with some businesses opening with social distancing in phase 1, schools then reopening in phase 2, and all businesses essentially being allowed back open in phase 3. The president's coronavirus task force says they have enough testing for phase 1 in every state, but when asked if they had enough testing for phase 2, they said they don't know yet because they still don't know how much the virus is being spread by people who don't have symptoms. Whit?
Yeah, a lot of questions about the details there. Trevor Ault reporting.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.